patterns with even and odd. Now, fun fact, one of the very first videos I ever made, ever, which is on my YouTube channel, which you can find by going to professor-cunningham.com. Yes, plug number one. Is exactly this, except I use rocks instead of pictures or circles or whatever they're going to do. And I had a really great time making that video, even though it's kind of low quality by you know, standards a couple of years later. Patterns with even and odd. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom in for a second, and we're gonna talk a little bit about what even and odd actually mean, and then we're gonna blitz this topic, okay? Because I think I can probably explain it better than Khan Academy. What do even and odd mean? Let's make, yeah, a little bit less, yeah. An even number is any number where if I was to break it down into pieces or circles or rocks or whatever, and pair them up, each partner or each rock, each dot, each object would have exactly one partner with none left over. Yeah? It means that you can organize it into two rows without anything left over if you want to think of it that way, if you want to look at it this way instead. Either way works, either way is valid. An odd number is one where if you try to put it into two rows specifically, there is exactly one dot, rock, object, whatever, left over. Exactly one. There can't be more than one, because if there was a second one, then we would pair them up and it would become an even number. So there has to be exactly one missing a partner to make it an odd number. So now let's explore the consequences of that. If I have two even numbers, let me just go like If I have two even numbers and I add them together, and forget the fact that these numbers are 8 and 4. Pretend it's just some even number and some even number. Some collection of objects where they all have a partner, some other collection of objects where they all have a partner. You add them together, you're not going to magically get an object that doesn't have a partner now. So an even number and an even number will always be, always, no matter what they are, even. And it really makes a lot of sense when you think about it like that and when you talk about it like that. But remember, we're talking to third graders here. They're still learning what these numbers even mean. And there are other implications as well. What if I take two odd numbers and put them together and add them together? If I go plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like there. However many dots there are, if they're both odd numbers, then there will necessarily every single time be one dot in each number, one object, one whatever. They will pair up and make an even number. This isn't something you have to memorize. An odd number and an odd number becomes an even number when you add them up, because the two sort of odd rocks out get together. And that is the essence of everything we're about to do in this Khan Academy. Think of it like piles of rocks that you're organizing into rows, and stop thinking of it like facts you have to memorize. That would be my recommendation to you teachers and to you folks trying to help younger children get through this stuff. Which of the following have an even sum? So that would be 2 and 12. If I take an odd and an even, then the unpartnered rock in the odd number will not find a partner among a bunch of even pairs, so that doesn't count. This is an odd number and an odd number, which does make an even pair, but if I wanted to check, I could go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Boom, done and done. So an even number plus an odd number is always odd. Always, no exceptions. Liam multiplies two numbers and gets an even product. What could be true about the numbers Liam multiplied? Now, the way multiplication works is if you get an even number and multiply it by anything, it stays even. Because from a multiplication standpoint, it just means divisible by 2, right? I can take it and divide it by 2. So we only We could have both numbers being even, that would work, but we could not have both numbers being odd and end up with an even number. Try it out if you don't believe me. Take a couple of odd numbers, multiply them together. I guarantee you the answer will be odd every single time, because a 2 won't just magically appear out of nowhere. No matter how complicated the number is, if there's no 2 as a factor in one, and 2 isn't a factor of the other, a 2 isn't magically going to appear when you put those factors together. 8 5s definitely would have an even product. And again, I really want to showcase how many different ways the Khan Academy is expressing this idea. I love that it is using language and notation and vocabulary and really making sure that it all connects together rather than being seen as completely different. 5 times 3 is not even, but an odd and an even does become even. I really like this particular topic. That was very, very well done on Khan Academy's part, I gotta say.